it out. This is like starting a new business. And just like any business, you go out, you market yourself, and you build that up. And it'll be so much more rewarding after that. As far as our brokerage, the way that this commission split works is that new agents come in. It's a 30-70 split. So the office keeps 30% and the agent gets 70%. One other thing that I failed to mention is a lot of the offices will also have monthly dues or fees or desk fees or these other fees associated with that. And we don't charge any office fees. You do have an annual E&O insurance of $150. So that's kind of how your average, your brokerage split's just going to vary from place to place. So we're probably that 30-70 is pretty common, you know, in the marketplace. The next question.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Does that change over time based off the number of houses you sell?
It changes after a year. If you become a independent agent, right? Because what happens during that first year for newer agents, I'm involved in your transactions. A lot of times I'm probably writing the contract for you, or I'm heavily involved in your transaction with you. So when you become self-sufficient and you're able to, you know, go out, write your contracts, and I review, even when you're writing the contracts, I review those contracts because I want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. We don't want to get into trouble down the line. So after that, it will switch to an 80-20 split, and then the office keeps 20 and the agent gets 80.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in here real quick, because part of the question was about business cards and signage and things. One thing that we've seen over the at least this is from my perspective, Andrea, correct me if you disagree. The signage, we've been starting to see less and less signs in the yards and stuff like that, because it's just so connected to the internet now. People know when your house is listed, especially if it's a good house. And this has been in slow markets, buyer markets, and sellers markets. So the signage, it is helpful to market it. Obviously, if you're on the main thoroughfare or something like that, you want to expose the brokerage and things like that. But a lot of the stuff is transferred over into like the social media site. So you really, in terms of marketing yourself, you really, really want to have maybe a social media presence on Facebook and also Instagram and some of those sites in terms of marketing your properties. I know you've been on Instagram and you've seen agents. Some are really, really good at marketing. We have one on our team named Silky. I mean, he does really good in terms of doing marketing for his brand. In terms of the business cards and things like that, my guy Connor, he does all of my business cards. I'm holding them right here. He's actually in the group, and he does my business cards. And so you can have somebody design it, your cards. You can go to Vista Prints. Now, there are regulations with your business cards. So there's certain things that you got to know when designing business cards, to where the broker pretty much has to be prominent on your card. They really don't want the agent. They want you to be able to market yourself, but there's certain things that you got to put on your card to make it legal. One of those things is the fair housing. You got the fair housing logo, and then you got the equal opportunity logo that has to be on the cards. So in terms of marketing yourself and business cards and stuff like that, I know there may be a couple brokers out there that may provide you with like maybe 250, 500 business cards and things like that. But those are pretty much going to be generic cards. They're going to say the brokers, they'll have your name and things like that. And so with the business cards and things like that, I don't know if a lot of brokers are providing that, Andrea. Do you know if they might give them a couple, but still, if you really, really wanting to market your brand, that's something that you need to take control with and get with a guy like Cam Creations that's on this call now. He'll be able to, sit down with you and come up with signage and banners and all types of stuff. He can do everything. And so you might end up outsourcing your marketing in terms of your print materials and things like that. You might even end up outsourcing your electronic print stuff because you really want your, and then there's all types of apps that you can get, what is it, Canva?
Canva.
Yeah, and so there are some really sophisticated apps that if you really want to push your brand, some of them are free, some of them are really, really good, and they're not real technical to learn. So in terms of marketing yourself, that's one big thing that I think new agents, they're so busy trying to learn the paperwork side of it, they miss that part of it. And then they start to try to pick up that branding. They start trying to pick up the branding a couple years into their practice. And they missed an opportunity to really start getting clients and things like that because they're worried about the paperwork and those types of things. So I just wanted to add that in there. Did you have anything else, Andrea, before we go to the next question?
Yeah, and Canva's really cheap. I just wanted to throw that out. Canva's like $12.99. So it's really cheap. And I also use, I'm sorry about that. I also use Connor too, myself. So yeah, getting with somebody who does your marketing is definitely one of the things that will help you, especially somebody who knows what they're doing. Because a lot of times Vistaprint, I've used Vistaprint before. If you don't know what to put on there, you get exactly what you put on there. And sometimes your cards come out not saying what you wanted, what it's supposed to say. And I know with real estate, you have to have specific things on your card, like your brokerage. So yeah.
And we have at our office, we have templates and like that type of stuff you wouldn't have to worry about. We have the templates. You just pick A, B, C, or D, what you want, place your order. That part of it is easy. But the one thing that you guys have to think of, and I don't know why people get out of this mindset when it comes to getting licensed and become a real estate agent, but you really are looking at it like you just started a business. Like seriously, you started a business. If we opened up a pizza shop today, or was thinking about opening up a pizza shop, we're gonna want to know what are our brand colors, what fonts we're gonna use, how often we're gonna market, where we're gonna market to, where we're gonna pass out flyers, what's the menu, what services are we offering, who's our clientele, what neighborhood are we going to focus in on. That's with any business, you're going to kind of do that like setup of your business. Really being a real estate agent is the same thing. When I got into business, I used to think that everyone was my client, and they're not. You'll learn quickly that you're going to identify who your niche market is. That's not saying that we won't service everyone, but do you want to work with investors? Do you want to work with first-time home buyers? Do you want to work with the military, elderly folks? Do you want to work with luxury clients? Because all of those folks require different things. If you're in luxury, then that means you need to have some nice suits and dresses, maybe even some designer pieces in your wardrobe. If you said you want to work in a luxury market, that means that your pictures need to be on point when you're posting, right? If you're working with first-time home buyers, then you got to start. What do they need? Credit assistance, down payment money. They need to learn the process because they don't know the process of buying a home. So your marketing, as you're starting to put that together, your marketing is always going to target those things, and you never stop talking about those things. And I feel like people get kind of lost in there. They're like, I don't know who to call. I don't know, who to market to or whatever. But that's because you have to create your brand. What is your brand representing? Like, what is your what fonts? When I create if I'm creating a Canva, I use the same fonts every time. I use the same color code. I know what my color code that I use in Canva is. So when I start putting out information, I start having that brand consistency around who I am as Andrea, the agent, or Andrea, the brokerage, or whoever it is. So I just want you guys to really start thinking about when you say you want to be a real estate agent, what that really means, because it's not like a Pop-Tart agent. You just pop up like, oh, you want to buy a house? No, it's much bigger than that.
Let me also add in this here a couple of other statistics too. Is that in this game, honestly, the cream rises to the top, right? And the more marketable that you are, because there's a lot of people that take this game for granted and they don't put in it the time that is required to really grow your brand. If you put the time in it, this is one of those things that you will get out of it what you put into it. If you don't put anything into it, you're gonna be selling houses to your cousin and your family, and maybe occasionally a coworker. If you put a lot into it, you'll be able to do 2 or 3 transactions a month, and you'll be busy in this game. And so this game here is a true example of the cream rises to the top. I tell everybody, I know the statistics in Cuyahoga County alone, there's 450,000 parcels in Cuyahoga County, taxable parcels, right? 450,000 parcels, right? That's just in Cuyahoga County. In Ohio, there's 88 counties. You have a license to sell real estate in Ohio. Now, you got to be competent in the area and the markets that you're going to practice in. But there's a lot of opportunity. And then now with the internet being interconnecting everybody, you might have agents that's not even customers or clients that's not even in the country. And they may have found out about you because you do good marketing on Instagram or Facebook, and people have posted a video, or you did a reel, or you did something. So don't underestimate the value of really, really proficient marketing, because this is global. I mean, we're global. I've talked to people that's 7 hours in front of us, 5 hours, West Coast. I got a client in Arizona right now. I can't even call him until 12 because he ain't up till 9, and so I'm dealing with a guy that owns 5 properties in Arizona right now that I'm trying to sell his properties. And so how did he find out about me? It was through a referral, but it was also that he, when he went and vetted me, because they're not just going to hire you. He vetted me through Facebook and Instagram. He says, oh, this guy knows. I talked to him now. Okay, I can trust him in selling my property. So I talked to him on the phone. He went to my Instagram and things like that and seen some of the things that I was doing. And so one of the big portions of this whole entire being a realtor or real estate agent professional is really, really marketing yourself. And I'm telling you, the biggest thing that we've seen is you don't have as much success when you're worried about filling out the paperwork and things like that. So I did want to add that in there, and then still open it up to any other questions. Anybody else got any questions?
Camille asked a question, but I'm not sure that I understand. You said, does your brokerage offer more than just residential? Because I hear over and over again, new brokers go into residential first. Residential commercial is just your preference on what industry. There's some agents that overlap, but a lot of times the agents that are really, really doing commercial, they kind of stick to commercial. Not to say that they don't sell residential, but they kind of stick in that lane. There's a lot, because, and even commercial, what type of commercial are we talking about? Are we talking about those large buildings? Are we talking about, you're saying real estate? I think it's just your preference. That's another niche. If you're saying you like to deal in commercial, that portion of it, knowing what your niche is, may not happen until you get licensed and you start getting exposed to some of the deals. Commercial may not be a bad market to be in right now. There's a lot of things shifting and happening with business. This whole COVID has shaken up the world. So we saw a lot of businesses close up. We saw a lot of people working from home in positions and roles where they thought could not happen, but COVID taught us otherwise. So companies are finding out that they don't need as much space that they once had. So they're not renewing leases. I have a friend of mine that bought a huge commercial space for pennies on the dollar. And an investor had went belly up because Goodyear Tire had this building for the last 25 years. They bought the building right before the lease renewal, and they just assumed it's one of those things that they've been there and where's Goodyear going? COVID hit. said, we don't need this space anymore. And the investor lost out on it. So the new buyer, the person that I know that bought it, got it for pennies on a dollar because of that. So we're starting to see that a little bit more. Commercial is becoming a lot more the focus, kind of leaving residential, especially for investors. If you guys are listening to the news, they're saying, oh, real estate interest rates are caught up. People with money are buying real estate. Real estate is not, it doesn't matter what the interest rate is. The strategy just shifts a little bit. You have investors that are still buying up properties. I always talk about, even in California, they're building in California to rent. They're not building to sell, they're building to rent to people. It's a heavy renters market right now. So they just shifted. They moved from fix and flip. Now they're focused on the rental market. So people are about to capitalize on that as well.
Let me also add about that commercial, in the sense, is a fallacy, because if you're not really understanding the residential side of things, it gets harder with the commercial, because that's people money. Most of the time when you're dealing with commercial, those are cash flowing properties, income producing properties that you're dealing with an investor, because they're not looking, sometimes you might be working with a client that's looking to lease some space, and then you get paid on the lease. But you got to remember, commercial properties are income producing properties. And for the most part, you're going to be dealing with investors trying to make a return on their money. And so you're really, really, really going to have to be proficient in understanding leases. You're going to be proficient in understanding net income, cash flow, operating expenses. It's a whole totally different set. When
if you don't like math on this test.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at residential, when people really do like single family residential properties and things like that, they're looking for utility. It's a different type of use that they're looking for. They're looking to use that property for themselves. When you look at cash producing properties or income producing properties, you're looking at some people that are looking for a return on their money. So a lot of times new agents that want to get into commercial. You can do anything as long as you make yourself proficient. But that's the biggest piece. Don't get in that commercial realm unless you're competent and proficient. For the most part, commercial real estate is for the big boys. Your Jones Lang LaSalle's, you got your Chartwells, there's brokerages that focus on the commercial side. So what did you say, Andrea? CBRE. So they have commercial brokerages that don't even they use a form in the MLS, but it's called Cold Star, LoopNet, or something like that. But what all I'm saying is I don't want to discourage anybody in terms of getting into the game to focus on commercial. That is something that you can do. But for the most part, as a realtor coming into the game, you're going to be dealing with mixed use properties, first floor retail, maybe apartments up, maybe a 5 or 6 suiter occasionally or something like that. Now, the big commercial stuff, like down in the CBD in our central business district downtown, you're talking about the BP building, I doubt very seriously as an agent, I'm just keeping, you won't be touching a lot of those types of properties. You're going to be, if you're dealing with commercial, you're going to be dealing with mixed use properties that you see throughout Cleveland Heights and some of your older suburbs and things like that. And those are properties that are commercial. Again, I'm not trying to discourage anybody that's trying to get in the commercial realm, but if you think the residential side is challenging, when you get into that commercial piece, it's just a different set of competencies that you have to have. And when you're dealing with people's money, no matter if it's residential or commercial, you got to be competent in what you're selling people, and they will quickly find out if you're not. All right. So I just wanted to add that to it, because I hear a lot of agents, hey, I want to do commercial. Hey, I want to do this. And they've never looked at a lease. They never evaluated contracts. They don't even understand what net operating income is. And so it's just a different skill set that you have to have, and you can develop it. And so I see we're right at 8 o'clock. We did want to have an opportunity to go over some other information that we're offering that's coming up later this month. Did you want to tell them about that, Andrea?
Yeah, so we kind of shared the numbers with you guys and the breakdown of just letting you know that we're seeing from the state, in the state of Ohio, that we're at about a 50% pass rate, and folks are having a hard time passing the test. So Hann and I, we're actually going to be doing our first session June 25th, which is that next Saturday? June 25th. Is it 25th or 26th?
It's I'm looking at it, it's June 26th. Yeah,
Oh,
June
Sunday.
26th is the first session. Yeah.
So our first session is going to be June 26th, and it's a class that we're going to start offering to help you pass the test. In the class, we're going to go over, there's going to be testing. We're going to go over the test and all of the information in there. We're going to jump on Zoom during the week to go over and have study sessions. And then we're going to have another full session on the math portion of the test. Our goal is to help you pass the test the first time. We don't want you spending the money over and over again. And folks, you start to get discouraged when you don't pass the test and you have to keep going back in there. If I show you my file that I wish I was at my office. If I was at my office, I would pull out my file where I have applications. I've signed this brokerage application a number of times for folks who have failed the test, got discouraged, and have not taken it since, because they've taken it 2-3 times and then they just give up and, you know, switch direction, right? We don't want that for you guys. So we're going to be offering this class. The first session is June 26th. Now there is a fee for the class. Our fee normally is $500, but we are offering it today for $399. So $400 in this session. We're going to give you so much information, material to help you pass that test the first time.
And the other thing that I want to add to it is you're going to end up paying it to somebody unless you're going to take those books that you got from whatever class that that you got from Hondros or Lakeland, wherever you go. The big difference in this is exactly what I honed in on is that you can start out focusing on your brand versus, because you'll get a lot of the information, and the success rate is again 50%. So the likelihood of you not being able to pass the test on the first time, not saying that anybody can't, I'm just saying that what I've seen, people that are very intelligent people can't pass the test. They end up taking it 3-4 times. And I'm thinking like, and then the one thing that I've seen is they'll miss the first test by like 2 questions and go back and miss the second test by 10. It get worse. And I'm thinking like, but what that really is a product of that there's multiple examples of the test. And some are heavier in other areas. So one might be heavy in math. Another one might be heavy in appraisal questions. Another one might be heavy in finance. So when you're taking these different tests, your weak points will they'll show themselves. They'll become transparent. And so what we're trying to do is offer the class. Is a very, very comprehensive class. It's a set of there's a set of videos that I'm comprising now, working with a group. And actually Camille is in one of the classes. Hey, Camille, I just want you to just speak to some of the things that you've been able to get out of the class. As I know she's one of the biggest advocates that I have. She's always posting it in her story and stuff. So can you speak a little bit to what some of the value that you've gotten out of the class, Camille?
Hey. Well, yeah, the class is very helpful. I will say that. I went to Hondros, and you know, I kind of wish they had this, everything they're offering you guys. I really wish they had it when I was taking classes, because had I known a lot of stuff that I'm learning now, especially with what Andrea broke down, the way the classes are. For me, Hondros I didn't retain a lot of information. So let me give you a little background. I took Hondros, this is probably like what, my second time, Andrea, maybe? Going through the classes, because I really do a lot and I just felt like I wasn't retaining it. And I did take some well, I'm getting ready to take my exam, so I have repeated or audited some classes again, just because it doesn't feel like I'm retaining it. The classes I take with Hann definitely help. I'm definitely retaining a lot more information. I mean, I'm sure he could tell you himself. I interact with the class a lot more, so I know I'm learning, because before I wasn't able to answer questions. Like I think we just did we've been doing some QA where you have to think on your feet and you're not able to look the stuff up. And I think I answered like maybe if not all of them, maybe like 8. I think there was 10 questions, 8 I answered off the top of my head. So that was a big accomplishment for me because I really felt like the classes I did not retain. Like one thing about Hondros, like Andrea said, is completely true. They teach you to pass the test. Passing the test is not, teaching you to pass the test is not enough. You have to understand the information. And that's what the classes that Hann teaches offers, understanding it. So definitely it's very helpful for me.
Mm-hmm. And so just looking at the things that we are going to be covering with that, with the class, it's going to be, we call it our agent success class. And then after that class, there's opportunities for additional classes that we'll be rolling out to, just like I want to do a class in terms of field training now. And so that's something that I have to just kind of write, kind of just come up with a curriculum that I want to do. But I do a lot of rehabs of properties, and a lot of agents have questions about rehabbing and dealing with investors and stuff like that. So even after the agent success class, I think I'm going to be rolling out opportunities to go into a distressed property, show you how to point out some of the issues in those properties and things like that. But in the agent success class that we're going to be doing, we'll be offering hands-on training in principles and practice, appraisal, law, finance, math. And the thing that you got to remember is that people are taking this test 3 or 4 times. And the last thing that you want to do is take that thing 3 or 4 times, still don't have your license. You spent all this money to and all the time is money. I mean, man, look at the economy now. We got to work, because if you don't, you ain't gonna eat. So all of the time that you're taking out to try to pass the test, we gonna try to get it streamlined and expedited with this class, because like I said, we've gotten it broken down. We understand some of the pitfalls that people are doing. But the most important thing, y'all, if y'all not willing to dedicate the time and just really focus on your craft, because this is, like Andrea said, this is a business, and you can be very successful in this business. So we wanted to leave that, which I'm going to make sure I send out the information for the class. I'm going to start posting it probably sometime tomorrow. I know Andrea will as well. And you'll see an opportunity. Now we're going to be starting the class here in about 2 weeks, but we're a little bit shy of 2 weeks. But so that'll be that. Let me see here. Somebody had a question. No, Andrea posted the time. The first session is 8:30 to 4. And it'll be a study session on Zoom. And the first thing that we're going to do is like an assessment. Honestly, we're going to just honestly see where you're at and what you need. And then what we can do from there is understand where the holes are and try to fill those holes as much as possible. And then we'll go over multiple tests. There'll be videos available that you can get access to on demand. If you have a question about, I'll give you an example. I do a lot of Zoom sessions with the math. If you have a question about gross mint multiplier or net operating income or some of the more technical things with math, you can just go on there, you can look at the video, and you'll have step-by-step examples of some of the questions that you may have. And you can watch as many times as you want to. You can be up at 1 o'clock at night looking at these videos, whereas, that's not always offered with some of these other ways to try to get the information and retain the information. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to make sure I send out this flyer to everybody that was part of the session. Andrea, did you have anything else?
2 things that I want to mention. Number one, I just want to mention the reason why we decided to charge on there. A lot of times people will even think like, oh, well, you're the brokerage and you should offer certain services for free. And the reason why it's hard or impossible to do that, and you probably have heard this before, but it's so true. When people have $0 invested in there, they don't take things serious. They absolutely do not take things serious. And Hann, he gave his credentials at the beginning of this. He said he's an agent, he's an appraiser, he's helping other agents work with them passing the test. He works for the county auditor. He's an investor. He's working until wee hours of the night, finishing construction projects. So in order for him to then take the time out to study, that means he's stopping his flow of money to be able to do that. And so it's actually a little disrespectful when you do this and you try to offer the service for free. And then people are like, oh, I can't make it today, 10 minutes before start time of the session. And, you know, we've already blocked our time off. And it's true. We've been doing this for a long time. He's been in the business a long time. I've been in the business a long time. The people that are really serious about this, they're going to make it happen and be a part. And to pay the money is just something that's necessary. And if you're ready to get to that kind of next level, try to pass the test the first time, we want to be able to help you do that. And one other thing I want to be clear on, it's not just pay the money. We gave you those couple sessions. We're done. We got paid. It's not that type of party. We're here with you. You can call my phone if you have any questions. You could reach out to Hann. I know you can reach out to Hann. He's always.
I don't play with this real estate, man. This is serious business because let me just jump in real quick. Told you my background is urban studies and urban affairs. So it's a social piece for me, and home ownership for a lot of the people that we know is very important. We can't build wealth unless we know this. And so it's a social responsibility to me to help people try to understand real estate. I'm passionate about it. And I don't play about real estate because this is one of the things that where often we've been closed out. And so I take this serious. My background is in urban affairs, urban studies. I know the history. And so I'll do whatever I need to do to help y'all get the competencies that y'all need to do to be able to get more people out there that's being responsible about real estate. It's about making money, but it's also about putting people in good positions for their future. And I don't play with that at all. So I just wanted to say that, Andrea, thanks for pointing that out too. So you can call me at any time. Anytime you can call me with a question about anything in real estate. And I tell people, if I don't know the answer, I know who to go to find out the answer. So commercial real estate, like I tell people, I've appraised and valued the casino, the Tower City, steel mills, Racino, Top Golf, all of those types of places. I've evaluated those types of places. So there's not a piece of property in the county or probably even in the state that I don't really understand how to. If you understand the value and how something's valued and how it's financed and stuff like that, you understand real estate. And so I've touched pretty much every type of property through my background. And so I look forward to trying to share that knowledge with people because the knowledge is really power. And that's the key. Knowledge is power. So a lot of times it's going to come with a bit of a cost. So I'm going to leave it there. And Andrea, I'll let you pick it up. Go ahead.
I have a question. Do you suggest we pay to take the courses if we have not found a broker to sponsor us? Because I know that takes time when you're looking for a broker because you have to interview them. So I just want to know, like, should you wait until you find a broker to take the courses, or is it
the Agents Excel course?
Yes. If you haven't found a broker yet, do you suggest that we pay to take the courses?
For your real estate, like, so not what we were just talking about, your real estate classes, the 120 hours.
No, to take the courses that you're offering to help us study for the exam.
Oh, no, because you can do that. It doesn't matter. And let me be clear on that piece too. Just because I am on here and presenting this course that we're offering is for anyone trying to go to any brokerage. I would love to have you guys over with us at Brick House Realty. Like, why wouldn't you want to be? But but seriously though, if you met a broker, you felt a better chemistry vibe, we will not hold that against you. We'll still work with you through this class and, and help you pass your test, whatever your decision is on there. So this is just not a only offer to Brick House Realty agents or soon to be agents. This is for any company.
And another thing, and
That is
I
what
think,
you got. I'm sorry, Ken.
no, I just want to just add this in there real quick. It's important to interview your broker, right? A lot of times people just go with a brand name and they'll get your license. And a lot of these major brokers are doing 60-40 splits, right? And so the one thing that I had a video the other day and I said, I was playing the OJ's money, money, money. We want you to keep most of your money. So if you the quicker that you can get to 80-20, that's a cost right there. Because if you go to some of these brokers 60-40 and you selling houses, they keeping most of your money. So if you go through this track of classes, it allows you to kind of understand it a lot better. So when you hit the pavement, you understand it better and you can command more of a better split. So right there, that's a cost and savings right there. You know, where if you go through some of these classes, you understand it better, you get to keep a little bit more of your money. So it's important to interview your broker. So there's nothing wrong with already taking the classes. You haven't been sponsored by a broker. You take the classes, and then when you go to talk to your broker, they say, man, you know a lot. I might offer you 70-30, or I might even start you out at 80-20, because you know when they talk to you, you'll have a vernacular, especially dealing with me and Andrea, you're gonna know the lingo. That's a big part of this game and getting clients. You're gonna know the lingo. And so you'll go to a broker and say, hey, I've already taken my classes. I went through this agent success training class. I want you as a broker. And they'll get to talking. They say, okay, no, we might be able to bring you in at a little bit better of a split. And so to back into it that way that's not going to be a disadvantage. I don't think it's going to be an opportunity for you to, like, this is what I tell people want to interview you. You need to be interviewing people, because I might not want to work for you. Honestly, in this game, I might not want to work for you. I'm interviewing you. People always get the mindset, I got to get a job. I got to do this. When I go to interviews, if I'm interviewing for something, I'm interviewing them. They're not interviewing me, because I know I'm competent. And I know what I bring to the table. So going through these classes, you're going to become more competent. And that's the best way I can explain it. Camille, what you had a comment?
Well, yeah, I kind of was going to touch on the same thing you said. And I also wanted to ask her, where are you going to school for where are you taking your real estate classes at?
I actually already completed my real estate classes.
Okay, because
So
I was
just
You don't have a
studying.
broker? You don't have a broker?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say that if you go to I know that if you go to what is that school called? Hondros, they have broker questions that you can take to your interview to ask the broker. You can also Google those, but taking the Agents for Success classes has really nothing to do with your broker. The only time that your broker is really involved is when they sponsor you to sit for the test. You still have to pass the test. So
Right.
the classes are only to help you pass the test. So it really doesn't matter if you have a broker or not, whether you're going to the classes, because that's to assist you to pass the test. But if you want to look, like when I sat down to choose my broker, I actually Googled questions, and I looked up on Hondros for their questions, and I brought them with me. Fortunately, my broker was good enough to where when I sat with them, they actually answered my questions before I got them out my mouth. So, I mean, it's just, I really did like a lot of research on my broker before I chose my broker. So that's important. You kind of have to decide like the things you want out of a brokerage, what you need, the type of learner you are, what they do, like different stuff mattered to me when I went for my brokerage. Like being in a Black-owned brokerage was very important to me. Being a part of a community was very important to me. So I looked for certain brokers that fit that, you know, whatever the word is I'm looking for. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm doing like
My girl, man. That's my girl.
I'm doing three things at once, as always. So you gotta excuse me. That's why my questions come out a little much. And then he put me on blast, having me talk. So I didn't have a speech together. So you getting raw and uncut. Okay.
You don't need no damn speech.
Well, I'm gonna be, that's just how I did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a hands-on loaner. So I know I need to be somewhere where they're gonna put time and effort in me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a bust a move, but I also know that the way I learn is being on hands-on and taking certain time and initiative. So when I look for a broker, those are things that And Black owned is very important to me because we don't get generational wealth out here unless we support our own people and work with our own people. So that was important to me. So that's just the FYI. I hope it helps you. I don't know. I'm gonna get back off this thing because I'm totally
All right.
Thank you.
I want to see if there's any more questions, any more comments before any closing remarks or anything like that before we conclude this. Andrea, you got anything else to close out?
No, I can share some out. Maybe you could email it out. I have questions that I share with the students in my classes at Lakeland on what to ask for ask a broker. And it's very personal to me because of my experience as a first year agent. So my questions are very detailed on what you should ask to help you make those decisions. So.
Mm-hmm. And again, the only thing I want to say is I'm passionate about this. If y'all want to learn this game, I don't like saying the right way because everybody does it a different way. But if you really want to become competent in real estate, this is an opportunity because I'm gonna be right there with you all the way, all the way to the end, to the, to the time that even if after you get your license, if you don't come to Brick House, you go to Keller Williams or somewhere like that, one of the other brokers, not to pick on anybody, but you call me and you build that relationship with your cohorts, and you just reach out to me at any time, no matter where you at, what you doing. I love the game. So that's the only thing I can say. I love this game. It's been real, real good to me. And anything I can do to help y'all, just let me know. Again, I'll send out the information. I'll be posting it on Instagram. I believe mostly everybody in this session follows me already on Instagram. So you'll see all the material and things like that. And we got a class coming up on the 26th. So if y'all interested, just reach out to me, DM me, or DM Andrea. She's always on Instagram doing the things, Facebook and things like that. Hey, I want to thank everybody for attending the career night. And we're gonna have a lot of other things like Andrea. I know we talked about a number of different things, but I'm definitely getting ready to do a couple series. I'm going to do one on Airbnbs coming up in July, where I have a person that's an expert in Airbnbs. We're going to be talking about that. So we're going to keep pushing the knowledge because, like I tell people, there's 3 ways into the game: knowledge, you own the real estate, or you got money. Knowledge is the most important piece of that pie. That's all I can say. All right. So again, go ahead.
One last thing, I'm sorry. I want to invite you guys out. We're having, so our office is hosting a community day event that's this Saturday from 11 to 3. We're going to be at Osborne Park out in Willoughby. We're starting this session with everything is free yoga session, yoga wellness. We have a guy that's insurance rep that's going to be talking about the importance of life insurance, renters insurance, homeowners insurance. We're doing a presentation about down payment assistance, money, and credit for buying a home. We have a live band that's going to be there the entire time. We have bounce houses, we have vendors, we have games. It's going to be a full day from 11 to 3. So come out. It's a family event. Just come out and we would love to see you there.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, we're going to end the session. Again, I thank everybody for their attendance, and there will be more opportunities to do something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and end it for everybody, and I will send that information out. Y'all have a good rest of your evening. Take care.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Mhm.